Hello, I'm Frank Hanaway, and welcome to Big Journey, Small Steps. Well, I used to teach right before I retired. I taught at a school called Macfarlane Park IB Magnet School in Tampa. And I was asked to go back there last week and give a speech to the graduating fifth graders. It was an elementary school, still is an elementary school. And I got to spend time with the kids and the parents, and it is such a wonderful school and such a wonderful environment. And we were all talking about the kids and what they'd accomplished and who needed help and who'd grown up some, who was going through a bad patch, all those things. It was so wonderful to see the parents and get to share information about their kids. I was very fortunate to teach at this school. It is a one of a kind, and I do mean a one of a kind. We are, I'm going to say we, even though I'm retired, we are a district school, a school district school, but nevertheless we try to stay as true to the IB plan, the IB primary years program, as we possibly could. And you'll find a lot of IB schools and school systems, they're IB in name only. So we were special. We were a special school. And I was very proud to be a part of it. And one of the neat things that happened, my principal, who's a dear, dear friend and just brilliant at running that school, she showed up, and then right before the kids got there, and then she and I were doing crowd control together and everything. We always work together beautifully, and it's just, we say 2 or 3 words, and she's like, I'm thinking this, and I'm like, I'm thinking this, and it was just fun to be back in the swing. And I really don't want to go back to teaching. I found it difficult to work for the school district. I would be better in a private school, maybe, but I was great at this school. This was my school. So anyway, I'm going to tell you a little bit about the speech I gave. So I talked to the kids. I kind of wanted to prepare them for middle school, and I didn't want to give them a speech about how great you are. We do that way too much. You know, we've built them up. They know they're good. But what I wanted to talk to them about was becoming more self-reliant and how difficult that was going to be in middle school. And I told them that in about a year, their parents were going to get very dumb, and their parents would probably remain dumb for about 10 years, and then they'd wake up one morning and miraculously their parents wouldn't be dumb anymore. And so it's fun, silly things like that. But then I started talking to them about making friends with failure. Making friends with failure is one of the most important things I've learned to do in my life. We don't support failure in our society. And some of you are listening to this going, well, why would we? We don't want people to fail. Failure is the pathway to success. If you watch a baby trying to learn to walk, they fall over, and sometimes it's painful to watch. Over and over and over and over, and eventually they take a couple steps and everybody cheers and they're all encouraged, and then they fall. And they fall. And then they and the next thing you know, they're crawling all over the place and you can't get them out of the cabinets. So, failure is the beginning of learning anything new, isn't it? And the trouble with not making friends with failure is that you're not able to try things that you're not sure you'll be good at. And so I told them this story when I went to a small college, new college in Sarasota, Florida, which is you create your own program. The courses were satisfactory or unsatisfactory. So it encouraged, you weren't going to get a grade, you weren't going to end up with a GPR. So it encouraged you to try things you might not try, because all you had to get was satisfactory. If that had turned into a C in a regular university or something, I wouldn't have taken a risk on taking a course that I might get a C in, or I would have dropped it if it was headed that way. I just wouldn't do that. That's the kind of person I am. So, unless you had to have it, but this school wasn't like that. So, I had always wanted to study Greek, but I was 30 by this time. I went back to school a little late, and I was 30, and I was thinking, can I learn Greek at 30? And I'd had Latin, I'd had Spanish, French, and I was prepared, but I honestly would not have done it anywhere else. And I loved it, and I did very well, and I'm sure I would have made an A if we'd given A's, but I took a risk. Turned out I didn't fail, but it's easy to fall in the trap of just doing the things you're good at. Oh, somebody getting in touch. And that can be a problem in life, because sometimes you really like something and you're afraid of it because you can't just do it immediately. I learned to play the piano very late, and believe me, I went through a lot of failure to get good at it. And it just is something to remember. And it's something for me to remember in my spiritual life, because I fail all the time. And so I'm crossing that off. Okay. Try not to fail the same way again. Thank you so much for spending time with me today. I really appreciate it. And from the bottom of my heart, I wish you peace and joy.